Blessings Booktube. Here I am with Hercules' seventh labor in the series from Christie's collection of Poirot's Last Adventures, The Labors of Hercules. I will read for you, as always, the beginning. I read the actual old story from Polydorus' Bibliotheca, and then we'll jump into the Hercule Poirot story, and that'll be spoiler free. Let's say 99% spoiler free. Okay, the seventh labor he enjoined on him was to bring the Cretan bull. Hercules said that this was the bull that ferried across Europa for Zeus, but some say it was the bull Poseidon sent up from the sea when Minos promised to sacrifice to Poseidon what should appear out of the sea. And they say that when he saw the beauty of the bull and sent it away to the herds and sacrificed another to Poseidon, at which the god was angry and made the bull savage. To attack this bull, Hercules came to Crete. And when, in reply to his request for aid, Minos told him to fight and catch the bull for himself, he caught it and brought it to Eurysthenes, and having shown it to him, he let it afterward go free. But the bull roamed to Sparta and Arcadia, and traversing the it's the last sentence if it'll let me go down. Whoops, now I'll go down three things. Isthmus, arrived at Marathon in Attica and harried the inhabitants. Okay, sorry, because it's a side-by-side with the actual Greek, so it takes a little while to load the next page. It's in my free version from whatever that site is. Okay, let's jump to the Hercule story. Now, this is going to be one of those where the story has, the Hercule story has really almost nothing to do with the original. So, yeah, Christie's not overly successful in that aspect of this work, of making the stories fit the original. But, I think that's a lesser sin than those sorts of collections that try to make their conceit fit too well and therefore constrain themselves in their actual stories. In other words, we have a great Poirot story here, and we can live with the fact that it doesn't connect that well with the original story. Also great. Rather than trying to fit it too well and ending up with a Hercule Poirot story that ends up reading like a half Grecian drama or something weird. What I will say, one of the strengths of this collection is the variety of stories that one gets. As I said, I chose it because I really like mysteries that aren't murders, and this collection has only one or two murders, depending how you want to count, or at least the main crime being a murder. That's not really a spoiler, I don't think. We had a love story already. I skipped the sixth one a couple stories ago, which really was almost not a farce, but it was settled in a manner more along the lines of Wodehouse is Jeeves than Poirot. And humor is always in Christie, but which is why this story, which I want to tell you about today, would have made a great Gothic story, were she so inclined, but she is not. One reason being she doesn't want to give up her humor. So this would be great if you were teaching this story. If you ever wanted to teach about tone, this would be a good one to say, look, here I'm going to show you a story that has all the elements of the Gothic story, and yet is not at all Gothic because it doesn't take that tone. To prove it to you, let me give you some humor right from the beginning. So the fiance comes. She's worried about her intended, actually no longer intended, because he has just thrown her over, and she believes something is up, and so she comes to Poirot for help. Is Poirot going to help with such a sort of I don't know, how can we say, affaire de coeur with such a love situation? Yes, there's just enough element of menace in there that he's interested. So Hugh broke off his engagement because he thinks he's going mad. Okay, but all people are a little bit mad. What is being mad after all? Everyone is a little bit mad. It has been said so. Poirot agreed cautiously. To which he replies, "It's only when you're thinking you're a poached egg or something that they have to shut you up." So this sort of humor would not be at all permissible in a Gothic story. So let me give you the Gothic elements that are in there to sort of prove why I think it would make a great Gothic story. You've got the country house, the family with a history of madness. There was a sort of love triangle in the elder generation. There are something is killing beasts and animals bound and about the manor. We're not sure what. It happens in the night. Suspicion falls on the fiance, who has been mysteriously yanked out of his military service. There's even a portrait of the mother and some family resemblance stuff with that. I don't think this is a spoiler to tell you that it ends in a switched suicide. In some ways, this is a how done it, and in some ways, this is a prevent the murder rather than solve the murder. And I think that's pretty much everything else I can tell you without spoiling. And I think that is enough to convince you that this would make a really great Gothic story. You've got, at a certain point, the locked door, which is left unlocked, and he's locked in for his own good, but then there's blood in the basin. There's possibility of who might be gaslighting who. What else might be going on? There is disease in the family as well, eye disease, and there may be some sort of drugging involved with medicines. I can't really say any more without getting too much into the details that are going to give away some of the plot. But anyway, that's pretty much all I had to say about this story. It's a very straightforward story because of the reduced number of characters in this closed country house. This relatively small family. The mother's passed away. You do have this extra guy along there, the best friend who used to love the mother, as well. But that's just not enough characters to really make a great mystery. So for me, this was a very obvious what was going on, but it was still a fun sort of, let's call this a suspense story to see how things were going to get undone. And there's always the possibility, with it being Christie, there'll be a big switch at the end. There was one element in there that I did not see coming, which didn't affect the sort of crime or non-crime, but did affect the relationships between all the characters. Then there's a bit of a pattern too with Christie. If you know Christie's pattern, that sort of gives things away in the way that she deals with betrothed lovers, whether that's her wish fulfillment from her own earlier marriage problems or not. But anyway, we'll leave it at that. So the Cretan Bull, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're enjoying the series. Let me know. Oh, we're going to finish it, I think, at this point. We're 7 stories in. So I thought of skipping this one as well. It's so straightforward. But then I thought it would be fun to talk to you about this. This way that you can have elements of a certain genre, but that does not make that genre in and of itself. You really have to have that tone, which is why I also have my whole pastiche series, because in thoses pastiches you'll see, I don't just try to convey little bits of the plot or whatever, but I try to give you the tone, the voice, which makes all the difference. Right, so there you have it. Another fun Hercule Poirot story. And we'll see you next time for the next labor. Please do subscribe, share this with folks, promote it in any ways that you know how. Please help more people to get to sharing these insights if you think they're interesting, because not many people are seeing them right now. I really appreciate those of you who are. Thank you. Bless you.